some news came out.
She looks creepy.
All right, let's go. It's Wednesday.
And we're back.
And we're back finally after 1 week, week and a half off. Not really.
Yeah,
well, off
we
from the show.
skipped a week.
We skipped a week.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. And it's episode 50 of the Screaming Room.
Oh, is it?
It is.
Nice.
This
Nice.
show started out as a show called Hookah and Horror. And then Kanan and I got together and we decided to take that show and do some rebranding into the Screaming Room. And but I'm still keeping the episode count because it's the same concept. The show's the whole same concept. So this is episode 50. So thank y'all for joining us for the 50th episode. And here's to 50 more. But so we were off last week because I was in Tampa shooting, or I wasn't shooting, but I was actually working on the crew of a movie that was filming down there. It's I can't talk too much about it. But I was working as a second AC, which is a second assistant camera. So I was working in the camera department, which I really liked. So I'm back now in Jacksonville because there's a hurricane coming, so they had to postpone production. And once the hurricane blows through, they assess all of the issues, then they're going to reschedule the rest of the shoot, and I'm probably going to be driving my happy ass back down there. So that's what I was doing. What'd you get into?
It's like a 4-hour drive, right?
It's like 3.5, 4 hours. Yeah. Depending on traffic and the route you take. What'd you get into on the day off?
Well, I went to Texas and ended up meeting up with Cody Leach and Sean Chandler, as well as Rudy. All three of them are YouTubers. Like pretty substantial YouTubers, like definitely a lot bigger than me.
Oh yeah, Mr.
But we
Leach.
met up.
Very popular.
Yeah, we met up to go to a Rob Zombie show. It was Rob Zombie, Alice Cooper, and Ministry. So, because I'm friends with Blasco, and he had reached out to Cody and was inviting Cody to go to one of the, because Rob Zombie did a short tour. Like this was only basically a month-long tour.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna hit it again hard next year, like spring. But so they invited Cody out, and Cody hit me up and was like, and we ended up basically deciding, hey, let's meet up. So I flew out to Texas to go to the show with them, and go backstage, and we met Rob Zombie. The coolest part though was we hung out in the green room with basically all the bands. And so we were sitting at a table with Riggs, the guitar player of Rob Zombie, and Blasco, the bass player, and I think the drummer was around somewhere. I don't know, but basically all the bands were like around us, and there was like a buffet of food. Like, it was crazy.
Nice.
But then we also met the guy who actually played the lipstick demon in Insidious. He does musical scores.
Oh, nice.
His name, I totally just spaced on his name. But he did the score of all the Insidious movies, and he did the score for Joseph Bishara. He did the score on Malignant, and like he did most recently the score for Tarot. Like, he's a really successful musician, producer, but really, really cool guy. So hung out with him for quite a while, and then we went, had great seats, like just a couple rows back, like kind of side stage a little bit. It was crazy. It was really cool. So we got to watch a concert from there, and then they gave us a whole big old bag of t-shirts. And it was great. We met up, hung out with all of them, hung out with Blasco and his wife. It was just a cool night. Very, very memorable. And like, my favorite part though was getting to hang out with Cody and Sean and like talking for hours about, just talking shop, like learning from those guys, because they've been doing it longer than me. Like, like Sean's been doing it, I think, close to 10 years now, maybe like 8 or 9 years. And Cody's at like 6 or 7 years. So, over double the time I've been doing it. So it was rad. It was just a really cool experience. Unfortunately, it was a fast turnaround. And I wish I could have stayed because I didn't kind of find out until it was too late to rebook my flight and Airbnb and whatever. But they were down there for Fantastic Fest. And so the next day, like I got on a plane and had to head home, but they went to Fantastic Fest and we're at the premiere on the red carpet of Terrifier 3, which is where our first story dropped. Damien Leone announced that they are making a Terrifier 4.
Yeah. What are my thoughts? I mean, I guess I don't know.
I don't know. You're not the biggest Terrifier fan.
Yeah, I mean, I guess these movies print money, so it doesn't matter if they're good, right? Of course, they're going to keep making them until they stop making money. So, like, yeah,
I think this one's going to make a lot of money.
He'd probably be stupid for not making a fourth one, unless, I mean, I wouldn't. Okay, I'm not going to say he'd be stupid for not making one, but you know, it wouldn't be surprising if, or it would be. Fuck, I cannot talk. I'm sorry, folks. This movie that I've been working on has been working me 12-hour days, like back to back for like 5 days straight. And I just drove back this morning. And so my brain is fried. So please forgive me if I just talk over myself. But anyway,
but you'd be surprised if they didn't make more.
Surprised if they didn't make more because of how much money these movies just make. So, you know, whatever.
Well, it really is just now scratching open because everybody talks about Terrifier 2 being like such a huge success, but it only made 10 million, which for a movie
that's all
costed like 200,000 to make, that's a ton of money. But as far as the scheme of potential, you know, it's nowhere near like even movies like Scream or, you know, other IPs. And it's crazy because Terrifier is being talked about in that same, like, you know, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. And those are all movies that made over 100 million at box office. So that's the crazy thing, because the projections I'm hearing is that it's going to get much closer to that Terrifier 3. Like they're thinking it's going to do like a 20 million opening weekend kind of thing.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's just crazy. But dude, they popcorn buckets, toys, Funko Pops, like it is insane. I am just blown away at how much merchandising I'm seeing for a movie that made 10 million. You would think that it's Beetlejuice 2.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're getting in on the collectors, the collectible stuff, you know, like people are going to start collecting this because it's a franchise that is becoming that's blowing up. So, you know,
yeah, but a lot of this is also items kids.
Well, I mean,
like, that's what's crazy to me is a lot of this stuff is like things that younger kids, you know, like I've seen a lot of that kind of thing. And that's what's surprising to me. I'm like, damn, dude, like this is about as hard as any horror movie that had this kind of mainstream success. Like, so I don't know. It's kind of a whole new world that it is going into. We haven't really ever seen anything go this hard that could possibly have like this level of success. So it's interesting.
We will see. Hello to everybody in the chat. I just want to go through a little bit. If you're watching us on Ghost Pirate, please come over to the Screaming Room channel and chat in the Screaming Room channel with us. We'd love to see you there. There's a link in the description right now. If you click on the description of this video, it'll give you a link to the Screaming Room channel. Please come over there and talk to us. We love to talk to you there. We can see all of your chats on both channels, Ghost Pirate and Screaming Room, but we're really trying to grow the Screaming Room channel, Kanan and I. So please.
So that eventually it can break out on its own.
So John Connor is here. Hi, buddy. What's going on? Thank you for the happy 50th.
What's up, John?
New Cronenberg film. Hell yeah. Mr. Jim says that he hit the notification bell for us, so that's good. Otherwise, we'd have no audience. That's right.
Thank you, sir.
Lonnie's here, says, sup, Ghost? Found your channel around a week ago. The wife and I have been hitting a lot of the recs.
What's up, Lonnie? Great to have
you. Julie says, Cronenberg makes me feel like a young teenager. Used to watch Reanimator with kids. With the kids. You watched Reanimator with kids that you babysat? That is gnarly.
That sounds like
bro.
the 1980s, though, like 80s and early 90s.
Let's just watch Reanimator. That's awesome. I wish I had a babysitter cool like that. Yeah, John says Art's become a cash clown. That's good. That's yep. Hey Heather, good to see you.
I just think it's amazing because from what I'm hearing, Damien Leone had options with this one. Like I've heard rumors that New Line, like big studios were wanting to give him like a bunch of money, and he chose to stay hard, basically not rated. Like more than likely this movie is not going to be rated again. He just wanted to keep it as hard and gory and brutal as it's been, which makes sense because he started out as a special effects artist, but still, like, that's turning down a lot of money. I mean, I think he's still going to make it back, but it's a big risk.
Well, yeah, and now he's not beholden to some producer, Now he's not beholden to a studio that's going to try to come in, assuming that that's the case, is going to try to come in and do something with his property.
But it's still not something that you normally see people do.
No, I understand. So I guess I applaud him for that, but I really wish the writing would be better. I really wish the characters would be better. I really wish there would be just a better quality film other than the special effects that come from these movies. And that's actually what...
There's only 2. So we'll see what happens with the third. I've heard the story is built out quite a bit more in this one.
Yeah, but that's what we heard about 2, that the story was built out from 1.
It was.
2 still had no story. Yeah, compared to 1.
A lot more than the first one.
Okay, fine, but that doesn't. I don't know, man. It's just like it's like
maybe it'll take 7 or 8 movies to get there, but
well, I mean, the audience.
The thing is, the Nightmare on Elm Street movies had no story.
Yes, they did.
I mean,
Nightmare 1 and 3 have,
or not Nightmare. I'm sorry. Friday the 13th is what I meant. The Friday the 13th movies had no story. Like, there was nothing. Even Halloween, as much as we all love it, had barely a story. Like the original Halloween. I mean, I adore it, but there's not a ton of story to that.
What are you talking about? The story of Halloween.
The original Halloween is very thin.
Has a very obvious beginning, middle, and end. And there is a protagonist, antagonist, and I mean, there is a story there.
I didn't say there was none. I said it's very thin.
Okay.
I feel like a lot of these franchises start out with really thin stories. Nightmare on Elm Street, I misspoke. Nightmare on Elm Street is one of the few that started a franchise that actually had quite a bit of lore and story to it. But a lot of these franchises, we think about them as a whole package. You know what I mean? But when you think about the beginnings, most of these start out close to the way Terrifier did. Like that first Friday the 13th is super thin. Like, as the franchise went, we got more and more lore and characters and this and that. But dude, even the first couple Friday the 13th, there was like basically no story. Like, you could sum it up in one sentence, like what the story of those movies are.
For Friday the 13th, yeah. I mean, I guess you're right.
And what do we love about it? We love the killer.
I've also like, just me, I've also not been a huge Friday the 13th fan.
Me, I love Jason.
Right.
I love Jason. I think he's amazing, and I'll watch those movies for Jason. But as far as movies, they're just And to me, that's kind of Terrifier. But all I'm trying to say is we're just now getting the third one. We're talking about it like it's a franchise that's been going. It's like, this is the third movie, and that first one wasn't even really a movie. It was meant to be kind of a reel for his
show reel.
Yeah, it wasn't really. The second one is really, in my opinion, the first actual movie where they were trying to make a movie. He got actual actors, you know what I mean? Like, they really were trying to do something with that. And for a first real movie attempt, I think it's pretty damn good. And so that's why my hopes are pretty high for this one, because like, you can see him, like, that's all I ever want from any artist, right? Is improvement. Show that you're working, show that you're making improvements, like, in your art form. It doesn't matter if you're playing football or if you're cooking food or if you're making movies. It's like, if you keep doing the same thing and making the same mistakes over and over, then I'll start to be like, But
yeah, what are you doing? We got a $5 super chat.
Thank you.
Happy is happier now. Says, hi again. Thank you for the great content. Can you make
so
a video on top 10 future classics in your opinion?
Oh,
so
that's a good
movies that you
idea
think
for a
are
list.
future classics. Yeah, which
I'll keep that in mind. Probably not in October. I already kind of have a lot of the
content done.
Yeah, honestly, until the end of the year, I have kind of everything, because after October is when I got to start doing my end of the year videos, like through November and December.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
But January is when I do a lot of those kind of videos, because it's like a slower time of year, and so it's almost like a retrospective in a way.
John Connor says, more
like
story became an issue for some Halloween fans once the Thorn storyline got introduced in part 6. I was just glad to see Sir Donald Pleasant's role last time as Doc Loomis.
Totally.
Yeah, that's true. And then, like,
I mean, just because you make more story doesn't mean it's good.
That doesn't mean right. That doesn't mean it's going to be good. I understand that. I completely buy that. So
I do think that there was cool
for
that though. Like I've always thought that the Cult of Thorn had potential. Like there is some cool ideas there. Wasn't executed great, and like there were definitely problems with it. But man, I have always been bummed that someone has, like, they keep doing these remakes now and whatever. I keep wanting someone to take that idea and expand it and better writing, you know, like this series. I mean, they're making a Halloween series. Like, to me, that's perfect for a series. Like the Cult of Thorn concept would be perfect in a series.
Right.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
We don't know yet really at all what the Halloween series is going to be like. So it's interesting. All we know is that they're making a series and that it's going to be connected to a movie that they're going to make at some point too. So, all right. So let's do some of these other.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Let's watch these trailers.
Want to watch some trailers? Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
Which one do you want first?
Let's start with a fun one.
All right. So the fun one is a show that's going to be coming out on October 8th.
Called Prime Video.
Called Killer Cakes on Prime Video. And it's
not as a rental, but as a subscription.
We'll watch the trailer, but you can probably assume what this show is going to be about. So let me share this screen.
So, but what's interesting about this is that it's Blumhouse. And so it's interesting to me that Blumhouse is expanding into something like this. And I love this because I'm a big fan of these kind of shows. Like, they just feel very like comfy, cozy Halloween time of year, you know, this kind of show. But as you'll see in the trailer, this is a little different than ones we've seen before, because instead of having cooking host and like everything all cooking centric with creepy stuff, like this one, like you'll see.
All right. Let's watch it. Here we go.
Is that a maggot?
Like, please God, let that be raspberry sauce.
I mean, like right away,
the best cake
genuinely a horror
the details. To build cakes that will make our judges
give me that hatchet.
Gasp! Oh! This is an example of the type of cake that you'll be baking. Oh. Two of the hottest special effects artists in the industry are going to help execute their terrifying cake creations. Oh! Let's make it bleed. The cakes will be judged on their taste, special effects, and the stories behind the cakes.
Do we want to do a whole
that's
body,
cool.
or do we want him dismembered?
Yeah. Doesn't this look fun?
One team will
it looks fun as hell.
with $20,000.
Like, this is one thing that
$15
is doing that's like more mainstream that I'm actually a fan of.
Yeah.
Because they keep making these like mainstream movies that are shit.
It's 2 episodes though. That's what sucks.
But I think it's kind of a test, if you know what I mean, like to see how it goes, and like maybe next year do like a full season. But
looking nasty.
Running out of time. Hurry! Just cover it.
I really need this to not fall apart.
This is a celebration Of all things that are horror.
But I'm
You just
curious.
hope that you live to.
I'm curious who all we're gonna see because you might have missed it. But that was Daniel Harris.
Yeah, they're
For a
probably going to bring
second.
in a bunch of like different, a bunch
Yeah.
of different guests. Yeah, let's see. Let's
Yeah.
go back.
A little before this,
Where was he?
right before this, right there. That's Daniel Harris. Yep, right there.
Is a celebration
Yep.
Yep.
of all things that are horror.
You just hope that you live to see another day.
Like if you listen to Daniel Harris's podcast, she mentioned that she went and shot something but couldn't talk about what it was a while back. So it's cool to now finally know what, because she's been dying for roles. Like she has not been getting offered, stuff. And then so she was just in Stream, which she did a phenomenal job in that movie. And then now she's got this. So hopefully we're going to start seeing her in more and more projects, because even if she doesn't get cast in like big movies anymore, like, dude, you can't tell me she can't be in these like, kind of B-rated horror movies. Like,
Yeah.
So anyway, I think it looks fun because like I said, on the Cooking Network or Food Network and things like that, every year there's always those Halloween, bake off and cookie thing and the pumpkin carving and all that. And they're fun. I like them all, but they're not really horror. It's like the cooking world doing something spooky. This
Right.
feels like the horror world doing something food related. Like the fact they have actual special effects artists involved and stuff. Like,
Well, it reminds me of that show that came out on
forward to
Netflix. It's similar. I'm gonna forget the name off the top of my head, but something's like Curious Creations or whatever.
Yeah, wasn't that? But that was just that one girl though, wasn't it?
Right. Yeah. But it was like
she's amazing, like an amazing artist. Like she makes all these food creations and stuff, but she had like puppets and stuff.
Yeah. And that was awesome.
Yeah.
I loved watching that show.
I love that show.
I'm not a baker. I'm not going to be making any of this shit, but I just love watching that show. I mean, because she's easy on the eyes. But also, but also like the show is just like, it's just so awesome, like just spooky. And I just love
that's what I mean. It's like this kind of cozy where it's horror, but it's not like anything it's just something fun. Like,
right.
I don't know, for me anyway, it takes me back to being a kid. It's just that innocent horror in a way, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it's like my little pumpkin candle I have right here, just smelling pumpkin in the air. I got a pumpkin candle, wholesome thing.
I got a pumpkin cinnamon candle burning myself because I'm basic and I have not had a pumpkin spice latte in a week and I am jonesing.
Shit, I don't get to have those especially anymore being a diabetic. I'm a diabetic.
Oh, that sucks, dude. I'm sorry.
I can't. And then I've also cut out dairy. I'm trying to lose weight. Got a few pounds off.
I've kind of cut out dairy too. Like I'll still have butter, but like I have almond milk that I use like for my protein shakes and stuff like that. Like that's the dairy that I'm having.
But if you're gonna have like one of the like a pumpkin latte or something, it's just
yeah. Like, I'm not doing that. No, I'm getting all of it when it comes to the
So it's it's pointless to even get one if But yeah, so I'm excited about that. That's that show. And like I said, I'm hoping this is just kind of a test run and it does well enough that they'll invest more into it, because that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like this is just a tester, because it's the first thing I've seen Blumhouse do that's like this at all.
Yeah.
Well, and for Amazon as well. So,
well, and I mean, good, because, and honestly, Blumhouse is going to be putting out some like video games too. I was perusing their IMDb Pro account, and they have a lot of stuff like listed that they're trying to get into, which is what I'm trying to do with my production company. Is I want to be able to do movies and video games and like books and stuff like that. Like, just really get out there, like, and follow really the Blumhouse model. I mean, because it's a good model. Yep. It's just too bad they've been shit for the last.
Exactly. I like that they're expanding. I like it a lot. My issue has been, but like I've talked about on here before, I feel like Blumhouse got the things of schedule wise have kind of screwed their year over, because I don't think it was ever the plan to release just the first 3 movies we got this year from them. They weren't planning on it because it was supposed to be everything pushed back, because they were supposed to also have Wolfman this year, and instead Speak No Evil ended up being their biggest movie, which is not like their model. It looks like is they'll release like 1 or 2 earlier in the year of these like teeny kind of horror, PG-13 horror movies that aren't really angled at people like me and you, and they're going to be vanilla, but whatever. But then they'll release the more adult stuff later in the year, like they have been every year, where like there'll be one bigger adult one in the summer and then another bigger one in October. But things got goofed up. From what I know, it's mostly to do with the strike. And so everything got slowed down and pushed back. And so that's why the Wolfman now isn't coming out till January of next year, whereas that was supposed to be their October release. So I'm not going to hold this year against Blumhouse too much, because they've always been this way, where they'll release some movies that are just kind of and then they'll release some bangers too. So
I'm waiting on the next banger. I'm waiting on the next banger. I'm ready.
Did you see Speak No Evil?
No, I haven't seen it yet, dude.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I mean, it's not amazing. It's not amazing, but did you ever see the original?
Yes, I did. Yeah, it was pretty dark.
Yeah. This one is,
I mean, it was okay. It was good, I guess.
Dark.
I don't know.
It's just not as bleak. This one is just as dark, but just not as bleak. It's like Americanized. But I do think it's pretty fucking good. Like I went into it expecting it to be trash, and ended up being like, yeah, it's pretty good. Like, it's not amazing. If it had been on its own, it would have been a lot higher, but because it is a remake, I still judge it based on that. And even with it being a remake, it's still pretty good. It's one of the better Americanized remakes that we have. So, but it's The Substance.
Yeah.
I need to go see The Substance.
I know.
Before you got to go back to work, because you cannot not be a part of the conversation. Like, I think that is going to be the movie of the year.
Depending on what this hurricane does, I'll try to get to it this weekend.
The only movie I'm hearing that could rival The Substance at this point that we have left is Heretic.
Wow. Okay.
Like, Cody was raving about it. He saw it at Fantastic Fest the other day, and he's raving about it. So, but he went and saw The Substance today and was like, he said in a roundabout way that movie, he said he tweeted out that if The Substance had been released at Fantastic Fest, it would have been the only thing that anybody would have talked about for all 8 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I'm telling you, dude, The Substance is like, it's not a movie that we see anymore. Like, it's like Cronenberg. I mean, it's got stuff that's,
bro, don't tease
like
me with
Society. Like Society. Do you remember Society?
Oh, I remember Society. Oh yeah. I remember Society.
Like I said in my review, it tells Society to hold my beer. Like, this movie goes hard. Anyway, I'm still excited about the movie. I've seen it 3 times already.
Wow. All right. Well, we'll see it. We'll talk about it next week.
Actually watched it 3 times. Like, a lot of times I'll see a movie like Long Legs like 5-6 times, but it's like, it's just on in the background while I'm editing.
Yeah.
But with The Substance, I've actually watched it 3 times, because there's a lot of layers to it as well. Like, each time I've watched it, I come away with something different. Like, because there's kind of 3 different, not really 3 different stories, but 3 different like messages, I guess, so to speak. Like, it's highlighting. It's hard to explain without getting into it, but yeah.
All right. Well, I'll watch it. We'll talk about it next week, but let's watch this.
So let's bring up and then we can talk about the Danny Boyle stuff.
All right. So this is Daddy's Head. This is the official trailer that's coming October 11th to Shudder, as you can see here in the title.
This is the one that everybody is saying is going to be the scariest movie of the year.
All right.
Like, genuinely, not hyperbolically, but people are saying, like, not people promoting it, but like legitimate people I know that have seen it said it has potential to be the scariest of the year. Like, it's really fucking creepy.
All right, well, let's check this out.
You need to say goodbye. He's not going to live.
And this is going straight to Shudder.
Daddy.
Yeah.
We'll only go to wait 2 weeks.
Isaac has no next of kin.
What does that mean?
He will need someone. I can't do this.
Give it time.
He's barely spoken
Yeah,
to me since
John,
we got
I
married.
really liked Cuckoo.
It will come.
Some people didn't like it, but I really liked Cuckoo.
Oh my God.
Isaac.
Is that fucking kids drawing scary pictures trope? Like,
I don't know.
can we be done with that,
I know
please?
that's
Like,
overused. I know.
It's
It's
so
a trope that's overused. But they do kind of use it in a cool way in this.
Come to the forest.
What are you looking at? Isaac.
Dad. He's in the forest, hiding in trees. His body's different.
What do you mean? Do you think you could draw him for me?
oh my God. They're going to lean into it.
Yeah, that's
We're
what I mean.
obviously
Like,
both
a
struggling
lot
with
of
the
movies just use it
situation.
as a stupid trope, but at least in
Means
this,
love.
it's actually a tool.
I mean,
You know, they're
okay,
actually
but
using it.
there's
Like, I
just
think
so
that's
many.
a cool way to build suspense. Like, before you actually see the entity, is to see a kid's drawing of it, especially when he's asked to draw it. I think it's a cool idea. I don't know if it's gonna work. I haven't seen the movie yet, but
Yeah, we'll see.
I do agree it's an overused trope. But like,
There's a knife
if you're gonna
missing.
use it, at least they're actually using it.
Yeah.
There's a knife missing.
We were playing.
Come. Don't be scared.
I know that there's something wrong.
Everyone must know he's here.
All right, so here's what I'm worried about. Here's the only thing I'm worried. It's not the only thing I'm worried about, but one of the major things that I'm worried about just after watching this is if this is going to be a CGI fest, I'm going to get super turned off. And that's like
I don't think it's going to be, because if you freeze frame, don't do it because it gives away too much when you freeze frame. But like if you freeze frame, you get to see I think 2 pretty good shots of the entity, and it looks like a made up person. Another thing though that's driving me crazy is too many people think CGI shit. Like, I don't know what this is about, but like I've heard a lot of people point out something as being CGI, and in reality it was actually practically done. Like, there's this weird fine line now where I think, and I'm not saying you, but no, I know you're not saying. I'm like a lot of audiences, like what, like a lot of audience, like a Barbarian, like the creature, the mother at the end of Barbarian. Like, I was just talking to someone who thought that was CGI. I'm like, no, it's all done practically. It was all in camera. Like the end of, or throughout the whole movie, every time you see Mother, it's that famous guy that basketball player guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like we saw in Alien, a lot of people claiming that was CGI. That was friggin' dude in a costume.
Well, it was enhanced with CGI. I mean, there was a lot of
everything is enhanced. Everything is smoothed out with CGI.
No, I understand, but like that wasn't. I mean, yes, he was in a costume. Yes, I know that, but like there was a lot of.
But still, it's not. It's still not there's a difference between smoothing things out with CGI, blending with CGI, and making a CGI creature. What I'm saying is, it kind of feels like a lot of people they haven't caught up to the level that practical effects are at. it's just like over time how CGI has gotten better and better. Well, so have practical effects. So it's like if people do a practical effect now, it doesn't look like it did in the 80s because it's advanced techniques. It's better, you know?
Right.
And so I feel like when we watch these shows like Face Off, it's amazing if you watch that show from like the first season till now and you see what they're able to do in these short time periods, you know, on these, like, it's crazy the levels of things that they can do with just makeup and sculpting and stuff now. So
no, absolutely. But when I was watching that trailer, it like some of the shots that we were seeing looked very CG to me. And again, gotta watch first, but like,
I mean, it is a really low budget.
It
is a lower budget.
Yeah, sure.
To Shudder.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of Shudder releases, unfortunately, they don't have a big budget. So sometimes they do have to do CG because it's more expensive now to do practical. So, but that's what's so amazing about The Substance. Once again, it's all done practically, and it's very obvious that it's all done practically.
Nice. All right. Well, do you want to get into our final story of the day before we get out of here?
Yeah, I'm curious of your thoughts on this. Like, you've been so busy. I'm guessing you didn't even really hear about it, but a lot of people have been talking about this because it was like a big deal. They made this big deal out of that they shot 28 weeks later, all on an iPhone 15, which is, they literally shot it on the exact phone that I have, the 15 Pro Ultra.
Yeah,
and it's so funny because then this picture, you have the picture, right?
I think I have the one that, yeah. Wait, that one or the actual pictures. Like on-set, the actual on-set photo?
If you have the on-set one, either way, it's fine. Like that picture I have is what someone, I don't know if that's the actual camera or phone, but it's basically the rig that they're using. So anyway, so this ended up coming out after the story, and people were like, did you really shoot it with a phone? Does that really count?
Well, no,
is that the same as you know, like people picturing shooting it with a phone, and then we see this rig, and it's like,
right. Well, so but they didn't shoot the whole movie on this. They shot parts of it. It says, hang on. Hang on. We'll get here. Let's just read the article. This is from Bloody Disgusting. Danny Boyle filmed 28 years later with an iPhone 15 Pro Max. It says production wrapped earlier this summer on Danny Boyle's 28 Years Later, the long-awaited sequel to 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later, intends to launch a brand new trilogy. Boyle and Alex Garland are reteaming for the planned 28 Years trilogy, with Garland writing the first movie and Boyle back to the director's chair to bring the horror to the screen. On that note, an article over on Wired, which I also pulled up, it says this week, reveals that 28 Years Later was at least partially filmed with a bunch of adapted iPhone 15s, specifically the iPhone 15 Max. So, like, the movie itself wasn't shot on an iPhone.
I think it probably was mostly because
look, dude,
think about the first two movies
partially filmed with a bunch of adapted iPhone 15s.
It says at least partially filmed.
Right.
I'm guessing the majority of this movie will be shot on like multiple types of cameras, because I think the reason they're going with it, my theory, so to speak, is they're using phones to show, like they'll have scenes where people are showing footage or running around with a phone or things like that.
Yeah.
You know?
So
I think it's going to be a found footage-ish type of situation.
We will see.
Otherwise, I can't see any. Well, what would be the purpose to use this rig? Like that rig is $40,000.
Right. So you want to show the rig? You want me to finish reading the article?
Yeah.
Yes to what?
Yeah, finish reading it.
All right. Blah, blah, blah. Wired details in their insightful report on the production. The Hollywood thriller, with its budget of $75 million, is the biggest movie to date filmed with smartphones. Principal filming for 28 Years Later wrapped at the end of August, and until now, the production has kept under wraps the fact that the movie was shot with smartphones, with the staff being asked to sign NDAs preventing the disclosure of this detail, because they obviously wanted to use it for marketing.
Yeah.
Wired also reveals, in addition to using the iPhone 15 Pro Max is the principal camera. Some scenes in 28 years later were shot with action cams strapped to farm animals. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, that's what I mean, where I think they're using multiple different types of cameras.
So those are the major details. So let's take a look at this rig.
Because I've also heard there's stuff that's shot with drones and then also using GoPros.
So here's the iPhone 15 Pro that they are shooting this movie on. For those of you that are watching, that are not listening on audio, I'll zoom in here. So here, I wish I was able to have like a marker to like delineate what I'm pointing to, what I'm looking at. But maybe you can see my little hourglass. Here's the phone right here. This is where on a camera rig. This is where the phone is. There's
it's on the back of it.
Right here are adapters because iPhones have lenses.
Yeah, it slides into basically the back of this rig.
Right. And so because a DP is trying to get a certain look and trying to get a certain shot. The iPhone 15 cameras are
the only thing I can think is, yeah, exactly, for zooming purposes and close-ups and whatever. But that's the thing I don't really quite understand with this. It must just be to get a certain look because, I mean, these are fucking 4K, dude, or 8K. So it's not like it's a limited camera anymore. Like the iPhone is as high level as there is so far. There's, the 16 is more, but at the time of shooting this, they only had the 15, which is what I have.
Yeah, so your glass
I shoot all my videos on this, and I don't even use it close to its full quality level because it takes too long to render. So I just do it at like 4K. But so you know more about this than I do. That's what I'm curious about. Why would you do this?
So the reason why you would do this is because your lens, which is this, because this is kind of a low quality, so I'm not sure where the adapters end and where the lens begins, but I'm assuming this is the lens right here. This is the matte box here. This is the barrel. So so this is going to be the lens.
Well, isn't that picture I showed you? Isn't that picture I showed you show the adapter?
It's but this is not the real thing. Like this is the actual rig here. What that picture that you showed me, which I'll find a way to bring that up.
The only reason I'm mentioning that is because it kind of shows a similar slight, because this is something I could go buy. That thing on right now that you have up, that's custom. You can't just go to a store and buy that.
Right.
The thing I sent you is something you could actually go online and buy. But it's a similar concept. And that's why I wanted you to show it, just because it shows how the phone basically slides into the back and becomes a camera.
So this is like something you can do with these phones. And this is a lens that you can mount to the iPhone lens here to give you a different look or a different, can modify what the lens is seeing. Essentially you're tricking the iPhone lens to look like something else that this lens is producing. That's essentially what you're doing. But
why?
Because phone images are digital. It's all digital. Everything is going to be like there's no real depth of field when it comes to phone lenses, to my knowledge. It's all done. But that's digitally.
What I don't. But that's what I don't get, right? Is because the lens is what usually controls what something looks like.
Correct.
And if you're putting this whole contraption on it, like that's what's really showing you. So like, couldn't you get the same thing using a camera? Or are they going to get a different looking image by using a phone?
You're going to get a different.
I guess what I'm asking is, do you think this is a gimmick, or do you think that there is actually a real reason why they wanted to do this?
No, I think this is a gimmick. I don't think there's a reason. I still think you're going to get a better looking image through a camera body, through like an RE or a Red or,
it wouldn't be a quality. It wouldn't be about quality. If anything, it would be about like,
if anything, it might be easier media storage. It might be, that might be easier because it's all on a phone. So like all of the media storage can just be directly uploaded to production's cloud and then
To
downloaded
iPhone or to cloud. Yeah.
And so then the editor can, immediately download that footage and, you know what I mean, and start editing like that. That way you don't have
seems weird
having to transfer media. But I ultimately
weird to
think
go
that this is
through
a
all
thing.
this trouble to have a custom made rig to use an iPhone. Like maybe they made a deal with or maybe Apple, like maybe it's going to come out that there is some thing they're working with Apple. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it just hasn't come out yet, but like when the movie is released, they'll be promoting it. I mean, at the very least, Apple would be stupid to not team up with them and be like, hey, let's make a big deal out of this. Like let's, when the marketing for the movie comes out, because I mean, you can't get better publicity for your phone's camera than a movie, a full on, what did they say the budget was?
I
It's
don't
in
know.
the
73 million, something like that. 75 million.
Like that's that's a lot for a horror movie.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, that's legit for any movie, but for a horror movie, that's pretty high.
Oh yeah. That's pretty high for a horror movie.
But I wonder,
John,
is that counting both? Because they're shooting both at the same time. So I wonder if that budget is for both movies.
I just want to know if John's video.
Remember how they're? Oh, what?
John is saying that the video is not showing. I just want to make sure that everyone can y'all see us. I know there's some people that are lagging a little bit, but I just want to make sure that everybody's seeing this. Hey, Diggs, what's going on? We see you over there on Twitch. It's our one Twitch viewer. We don't have a lot of traction on Twitch. How's it going, buddy?
Yeah, we look fine.
Okay.
Yeah, John,
right,
that's
cool.
you, bro.
Okay,
because
good.
I can see it on my phone.
All right, excellent.
I mean, I think it's interesting no matter what, and I like it because I have a camera sitting right there, but like I continue to use my phone because of the convenience of it,
Yeah.
But like as you can, I didn't even mention the reason I'm wearing this is I have I've been editing like crazy, so I have tendonitis.
That sucks.
Wrist really bad. Yeah.
Well,
I have carpal tunnel, so it already is the way I have to sit and whatever when I'm editing and whatever. And so like then it now has caused it's not fun. But I'm trying to do a double video week. So like I released a video yesterday and I'm trying to release another one this Friday, Saturday at the latest.
Oh man.
So
I'm still struggling doing one a week over on my other channel. Like I'm still struggling to do that, but I'll get there.
Yeah, but it's my full-time job.
No, I get it. Yeah. You're living.
But yeah, I mean, to do it, I'm having to 12 hours a day I'm editing.
Yeah.
Generally.
That's a lot, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so that's really our news. We have some.
Let's get to the comments like for the last
few
minutes. Let's give them some love.
I already said hi to our one Twitch viewer, Diggs, by the way.
What up, Diggs? Yeah, but if you guys got any questions, now is the time.
Heather asked, do you think they'll re-release 28 Days Later? I'm sure they will.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm sure they will.
Because isn't it about to come up on its anniversary?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, they'll probably release 28 days and 28 days.
Yeah, they'll
and weeks.
28 days and weeks. Yep. Bridget saw Beetlejuice, said that Candy did a review on it and she really enjoyed it. So
I think it was a lot of fun. I'm surprised actually at the hate I've seen people putting on it. I'm like, what did you expect? Like, I don't get it. When you go to see a movie like that, like you're not going to get the most original, creative, whatever, because it's literally a sequel. It's just continuing. It's like another chapter to that same story. It's like going and seeing another Harry Potter movie and being like, well, it's kind of like the first one. It's like, well, it's because it's a fucking sequel.
Right.
I don't know. The only complaint I saw that I do kind of agree with is that it was a little jumbled, like too many stories. They were trying to have stories for all the old characters to get them involved, but then also trying to introduce some new characters and new stories. And it felt a little bit like too much going on, but I just don't get it. I don't get seeing a movie like that and nitpicking. Like, it's just a fun movie. It's like a cartoon.
Yeah.
So I actually saw Transformers last night, the new Transformers 1.
Yeah.
That's pretty damn good too. Like the last
Yeah?
few animated movies that have come to theaters have been so good. Like the last Turtles one and the Spider-Verse one last year, like those were amazing. But this is like on that same level where it's like really creative animation. You know, it feels much more like an anime kind of animated movie. These don't feel like, you know, like a Disney animated or like a kids animated movies. Like,
Yeah.
you know, kids will like them.
It's just
But there's a lot of there's a lot of serious stuff going on here. It's serious art, and you know, but like especially if you grew up with the Transformers, it's fun to see it because it's like basically it's kind of telling the origin stories or the origin story of Optimus Prime and like how he met Bumblebee and you know a lot of the main Transformers and Decepticons and stuff, and it shows how they end up kind of going their separate ways. So, you know, it's fun.
Nice.
Any other questions we got in there?
Yeah, who had the chat completely turned off when we asked if you guys had any questions about anything.
I know. What is
a lot of questions from chat, but
no questions?
Yes. It doesn't matter. It's whatever.
Seriously, why isn't it?
There was another piece of unless we're lagging and people are actually talking to us. But what else? There was something else that we could talk about. Here it is. Okay, so Mr. Jim, hang on. Mr. Jim says my problem with Burton's lack of inspiration, technically impeccable. Happy I saw it. Hang on. Mr. Jim said that he thought Beetlejuice had a lack of inspiration, but was technically impeccable and was happy that he saw it.
That's what I mean by I don't understand why you would go into a Beetlejuice sequel expecting inspiration. It's like it's already all the characters, the look, like all of that's already been created. I don't think a lot of people really fully grasp what a sequel is. It's not a new thing. It's just a continuation. It's like another chapter. You know, I mean, it wouldn't be a sequel.
It's like what you do with it.
Completely new thing.
Yeah, but it's what you do with it. If you're just remaking the first movie and calling it a sequel, then but it's
not. I mean, the story's nothing like the first one.
Okay, well,
at all.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen it. I can't have an opinion. I haven't seen it, but
I mean, it's like I'm not saying it's groundbreaking at all, and it's not like the most amazing story ever. But like to me, it was exactly what it should be. It was just fun, you know, good time, some popcorn, like just laughing. You know, it was so fucking. I think a lot of the reason why I really enjoyed it is because I know we're running out of Tim Burton. Not only is he getting up there in age, but you know his inspirations and his desire to make big movies like this and stuff. You know, this might be the last one we ever get, and for just 2 hours to sit in a theater and get to soak in a Tim Burton universe that you could complain about the story or whatever, but the look of it though, and the feel of it is still very Tim Burton. And this is also really Halloween feeling. Like there's a lot of Halloween energy in this movie. And it's like, it bums me out because I feel like too many people are taking that for granted. You know, like I've seen so many people being like, Tim Burton's lost it, blah, blah. I'm like, are you fucking kidding? Like he had one of the greatest runs of a filmmaker ever in the 80s and into the 90s. And like, he hasn't lost it. He's just an old man.
Yeah.
Like people, it's what the movie, The Substance is basically about. It's not just about, but that movie deals with it more on a physical nature, like our looks, but it's in reality, we do this to people on, you know, like creators and artists. It's like, Like people talk about, Picasso, blah, blah, when he was like 80, his painting sucked. And like, he was an 80-year-old man, dude.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Like chill out.
yeah. Like you focus on the amazing stuff they did. And if you get a little bit towards the end, you get like a few last things that have moments here and there. Like that's just bonus time, baby. Like enjoy it.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt like with this. Like to me, the Ghostbusters last two movies, they were okay, but neither of them really felt like a Ghostbusters because they were made by different people.
Right.
Like they felt like a reboot, and that's fine. Like they're fine, but they felt like Ghostbusters reboots. This, not saying it's perfect, but it felt like a Beetlejuice movie.
Yeah.
You could feel Tim Burton made this, and a lot of the people involved from the same movie as well. So,
well, maybe I'll get
the
around
last
to seeing
thing.
it this time, but
The last thing we did
Well, I
almost
wanna-
forgot to mention is the David Cronenberg news.
Yes, we can
which
do
is
that.
huge
But I wanted
to
to.
me.
I was looking at when you were talking. I was looking at. James asked if we watched Has Been Hotel yet, and
No,
I had not.
I feel like I heard someone mention that one, but no, I haven't.
Right. Well, I hadn't even heard of it, so I went to IMDb to look it up, and it's this like animated show that looks like it was. done
That's
by,
right.
It looks like it was done by Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Like this just looks like an adult version of that, as far as the animation and the art style.
Yeah, someone was just talking about this.
Apparently, it's pretty good. I don't know.
It's from 2019. Where are you watching it at?
I'm not
it's
watching it
on Prime. It's free on Freevee.
Is it on Prime
Video?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
That looks fun.
Yeah. We'll check it out.
Cool.
But yeah, so we have all right, we'll talk about we got 4 minutes left. We can talk about this. David
and Cronenberg is another one of those like appreciate what we get left. Like the way people acted about his last one. Like I actually thought that was a pretty cool movie, but you can't compare it to movies that he made when he was in his fucking prime.
Right. The Shrouds, David Cronenberg's new movie releasing in spring 2025. This is again from Bloody Disgusting. Fresh off the film's North American premiere at TIFF, horror master David Cronenberg's The Shrouds has been acquired for U.S. release by Sideshow and Janus Films.
That's why this is big news, because he was struggling, from what I heard, to get a distributor. And so to be able to get one first round and not have to go to all the different festivals, like it says something, like there's potential for this to actually be a pretty good movie. The fact that it was picked up pretty quick.
Yeah. It says, building on a long history with David Cronenberg that has included releases of Videodrome, Scanners, The Brood, oh my God, Crash, Dead Ringers, and Naked Lunch. Janus Films and
what was that? Oh my God, for
Scanners. It's a great film.
I know. Why'd you say, oh my God? Oh, I know. So was The Brood.
The Brood was also a great film. But Scanners, oh my God, it's a great film. Sorry. My personal commentary, emphasis mine sometimes when I read this stuff. And Criterion are very proud to be working with Sideshow and Saeed Ben Saeed. I hope that's how you pronounce that name. Martin Katz and Anthony Vaccarello to premiere The Shrouds, a major new work by the Canadian master in the United States. Sideshow and Janus said in a statement shared by Deadline this morning. Vincent Castle stars alongside Diane Kruger, Guy Pearce, and Sandrine Holt. Variety previews The Shroud centers on
Shivers is great. John, I agree.
It's funny. I mentioned Shivers in the Hellgate. So just a little.
Oh, do you have a little?
Yeah, I have a little
nod to it.
Yeah.
That might be his most underappreciated movie.
I agree.
Like for as good as it is, I think it's first though, isn't it? Isn't that his first one?
Cronenberg's first movie?
I know it's one of his first, if it's not the first.
Yeah, I don't. You're gonna make me look this up.
I'm already looking it up. Let's see. His first. I wish they would just list it based on.
I know, just listed by year. Like, come on. Oh no, I just killed. All right. Well, I'm gonna keep
He's
reading.
done
while
a
you
lot
read,
of
while
movies.
you
Yeah,
research.
keep doing
I'm gonna
that.
keep reading while you research. The
Yeah.
Shrouds centers on Karsh, a prominent businessman, inconsolable since the death of his wife. He invents grave tech, a revolutionary and controversial technology that enables the living to monitor their dear departed in their shrouds.
Yeah, Shivers is his
one-
first. Then he did Rabid, and then The Brood.
One night, multiple graves, including that of Karsh's wife, are desecrated. Karsh sets out to track down the perpetrators. Cronenberg tells the outlet most burial rituals are about avoiding the reality of death and the reality of what happens to a body. I would say that in our movie, this is a reversal of the normal function of a shroud. Here it is to reveal rather than conceal. I was writing this film while experiencing the grief of the loss of my wife, who died 7 years ago. It was an exploration for me because it was not just a technical exercise, it was an emotional exercise. So this script could be good. In a way, the shrouds that my main character has invented are cinematic devices, he further details. They are creating their own cinema, a post-death cinema, a cinema of decay. Before writing the script, I was aware that there was a cinematic aspect to the shrouds, creating their own strange grave cinema, cemetery cinema. That's cemetery cinema. There's a tongue twister.
I know. That's
David
a creepy thought. Like,
yeah. David Cronenberg's most recent movie, Crimes of the Future, which brought him back to his body horror roots. If you missed it, the 22 films currently streaming on Hulu. So here's a little, here's something that, let me see if I can.
I really liked Crimes of the Future. Like, it wasn't a perfect movie, but I know. Look at that image. There's just.
So, like,
but
you can
I
look
read
in
in another thing he was talking about
one.
where I guess, I mean, we don't know exactly. We just have this to go on, but that's what it seems like.
It's kind of creepy.
But he was talking about in another interview I read that he's been thinking a lot about death. He's like, you don't get to my age and not start thinking about it. And so that was part of what made him want to make this one, because he wrote the script a while back, like when his wife died.
Yeah.
But the desire to make this was at least somewhat inspired by him thinking a lot about death and stuff. So I feel like it could be a really personal movie, which, it's hard to say what that is going to actually mean as far as translating into a movie. But at the very least, if you're a big Cronenberg fan, I think this is an important movie, and it could be his last. Like, as much as that sucks to say, it could be.
I want to read this comment because chat has been doing detectiving for us. Cronenberg's first film was Stereo, 1969. Second was Crimes of the Future, 1970, with 5 year
Hold
gap.
on, Stereo wasn't a feature length movie, was it?
Livewire, you're about to get fact checked. He did a motorcycle.
So technically, I guess Stereo was made for $8,000, and it was his first.
How long was it?
It
was a feature film.
I don't know. I'm looking for it.
Well, I think
even if it is a feature film, it's an hour long. I mean, it's technically it's an hour and 5. It's an hour 5. It's technically a feature. But nobody considers people's first movies. They're like they're high school kind of project stuff,
Yeah, no, I get it.
Like,
all right, well, that's
real first movie was like, he always talks about his first movie as his Shivers, where he got
legitimacy,
or I guess so maybe that, because I guess he did a movie, Crimes of the Future, as well.
Yeah, that's what Livewire said,
which is another one that he made, but these were all like the first two. They were like college films, weren't they? I think he's still in college, or something like that. Because this one was made for $15,000.
We figured out the mystery of Cronenberg's first film, but he is a master of horror, excellent filmmaker, and this sounds like a nice personal story, and it should be. Hopefully,
I've enjoyed everything he's really done on some level.
Me too. I think The Fly is
ones I don't love.
I think The Fly is
favorite.
Still my favorite Cronenberg. Yeah.
Yeah, it might be for me as well.
It's just so
I don't
good.
know. Videodrome is definitely right there for me. But then not too long ago, I rewatched Rabid and The Brood. Like, it would have been not last year, but the year before. I rewatched like some of his earlier movies, and I was just like, man, I forgot like how good, Shivers is, like Rabid, like all those movies that he made around that time are actually really, really fucking good. Because didn't he also make like he made something else right around that time too, didn't he?
I don't know, but I'm trying to wrap us out so we can we can figure it out for next time. Because we are 8:00. We're trying to run this hour, so we are out of here.
Existence is another one that doesn't get enough credit. Have you ever seen that one? That movie, like, I wish it would be streaming more so people would see that. It's just such a wild fucking movie. But it's interesting because it deals with a lot of things that we deal with now, like with video games and things that are happening with virtual reality and shit. Like, he really was seeing into the future in a lot of these movies.
Yeah, he was a great filmmaker.
So,
but that's gotta take us out. We gotta go.
Yep. I got work to do.
Yep.
Later,
thanks
guys.
everybody for joining us. We will see y'all next Wednesday, same time, 7 p.m. Eastern, unless for whatever reason I'm on set again, but I don't think it's going to be that soon, but I don't know. Anyway, thanks a lot for joining us. Please,
4 o'clock
please,
West Coast.
4 o'clock West Coast, 7 o'clock East Coast. Please subscribe to the Screaming Room. Hit the notification bell so you know when we go live, and chat with us on the Screaming Room side. We love all of you on Ghost Pirate side, but this isn't a completely independent show from the Ghost Pirate Entertainment channel. This is a completely different thing. We're both we're both from, different channels. So
but we'll appreciate your comments no matter where they come from.
Absolutely, we will. So anyway, and the hookah should be back next time. Hopefully, I'm going to be bringing that back, much to a few people's chagrin.
So everybody
but,
can
I don't
shake
care.
their fist.
Yeah, everybody can get all mad that I'm smoking hookah. Whatever. All right, guys,
because there's going to be little kids watching this podcast.
Oh no, not the children. Oh, okay. All right. Bye.